Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and it feels good to be home. Um, Felt good to step through that door, and the first thing that happened was my little niece Alana screamed and gave me a big hug, and it felt great. But for those of you that are new to the channel, I just went on a road trip throughout the country, the Midwest mostly. I did start in New Hampshire, but out of the places I visited, I went out to South Dakota. I didn't plan on going to Iowa, but I went to Iowa in the Quad City region, so then I ended up being kind of an Illinois, Iowa on that border. Missouri, I really loved it to death, and I did outside of Cleveland, Ohio as well. I did several parts of Missouri, and the reason I went there is I don't want to be a slave. I'm not a slave. You're not a slave. And this state in particular, New York State, is going to be the greatest slave state the country has ever known. That is the truth. I came here yesterday. I got back probably like 10:30 in the morning. And in the afternoon, I went down to Main Street, and they had Main Street cut off like it was a big, awesome, like, block party. So seats could could be out there because they can't eat inside. And yeah, it's a big win. No, there's barely anybody out there. The through traffic in a small town like mine, no moss, and half the people are wearing masks outside in 80-degree weather. Probably more than half. And one of the other things that came up as soon as I came in was the plan to go back in school. They want my nieces, who are 11 and 9, to wear masks in school. And I'm just not down with training my nieces to be slaves in what I know is a transhumanist agenda. So the video I have here, I'm going to show you again how Twitter is censoring 100%. And I'm quite sick of it, because for those of you that watch me, the last time they censored one of my videos or a posting, right? It was not my video. They censored a post of Bobby Green that I put up. I clipped Bobby Green talking about his foster father, who was his dad, and that he judges no man by the color of their skin, because Bobby Green's black, his dad is white. He was very emotional after a big fight with Clay Guida. Should have been all over the media. It was brilliant. And said the country's going crazy with these protests. Come on, let's, he goes, look, hate is not the answer. He goes, hate doesn't defeat love. Only love defeats love. And they are really trying to get us to stay apart, become fearful of one another, and they don't want us to have human contact. Another reason I went on this trip, I again cannot thank Pat Miletich enough for doing what he did in that Quad City region. It had a huge impact on me to be around, again, 3,500 people and have a good time with strangers who would shake my hand, hand me a beer, let me know what it was like only in March, when people weren't under this vast fear and it wasn't this political issue. So this video that we're going to play is an Irishman just belting it off, man. 100%, just going wild. And Twitter, of course, censored this. Speaking of censorship, by the way, in case you didn't know, we are fully demonetized on this platform. What I just said in the last 3.5 minutes or so will be deemed harmful content by this platform as well. And that's why we use it as a tool, because it is the biggest platform out there, okay? The biggest platform out there, bar none. And we have to use it so that people can understand, wow, this is being suppressed. This is being censored. So if you can support me, $5, $10, $15, it means the world to me. It's how I keep doing this. It's how I'm going to be pumping out 3 to 7 a day as I decide where we're going to move. And I'm going to get into that in a moment with the mask thing. I'm going to round it off at the end. So again, you can follow me on Twitter. And remember that all my documentary films are free. I'm telling you, if you haven't seen my docs, I'd really encourage you to see where I'm coming from. Okay, I'm not just some dude that's spouting off on the internet the last 6 months or 2 years or 5 years. I've been doing this for, I've been studying this stuff for well over 2 decades. And I've been doing it professionally now for 15 plus years. And I'm not perfect. I'm never going to be perfect. No one is. I'm not right all the time, but I'm humble enough that if you show me evidence otherwise, I will not only look at it, but if it is better evidence and it refutes mine, I have no problem going, I was wrong. It's a novel thing in 2020, right? Where everybody's trying to be like an influencer rock star. So anyway, let's get to it. As I've stated and will continue to state, this is a transhumanist agenda. This guy kills it. And there's the tweet, and it says it's unavailable. Now, the weird thing was I'd actually showed this video to my friend Tino and Marinara. I call him Marinara, but shout out to Dan. And the tweet is there, and it's got 1.1 million views. So then why is it on my feed where, again, I don't have anything, you know, that says I can't see sensitive content, right? They're constantly censoring my feed. And now you're going to see the video that they censored. And I'm going to have to stop it many a time because, I mean, this guy just goes in. So thumbs the video up, subscribe and share, join the Burmist Brigade, and get ready to listen to some hot fire.
You know, we're in a situation where absurdly and ludicrously a government is ridiculously claiming that it is interested in saving lives and protecting people's health and is harassing a man with a health disability and dragging him into court because he refused to bend the knee to this tyranny. But also think about the fact that at the very height of this alleged pandemic back in April, there was no talk of compulsory masks.
No.
In all of May, when the figures were dying away to nothing, there was no talk of compulsory masks. In June, when there were no cases virtually at all, there was no talk of compulsory masks. Now, when it's all but disappeared, it's gone. It's gone. They are now bringing in compulsory masks. And the reason for that is they need visible evidence of terror.
Yes.
They need to create a visibility of the terror that they want to inculcate in the people.
Let me just stop it. Wow. I'm not bending the knee. Love it. He's 100% right. He pointed out obvious facts for his country, right? I mean, guys, it's the end of July right now. It's the end of July. It's 95 degrees outside. And they want compulsory masks everywhere in my state. Okay? And he's right. This is a visible terror campaign. And we're just going to let him continue.
And that's why this is so important to them. These are really sinister people we're dealing with now. These are people that we previously thought of as people of our own kind, these politicians. But we have to start thinking of them now as alien beings, as hostile beings to the Irish people. They are the enemies of the Irish people. Clearly they are intent, because the mask is a way of denying the very human face of the person. It is a way of taking away the individual, unique humanity of each person and turning us all into zombies and restoring us to a kind of animal state so that we no longer will look at each other coming down the street as Tom or Mick or Mary, my friend, my sister, my brother, but instead as a festering mess of bacteria and viruses, which is a danger to my health. Oh.
I mean, did I tell you this guy killed it or what? And he's got a little, bit at the end here, but I just had to stop him. He's 100% right about that. It is about inducing fear of those around you who are otherwise your friends, neighbors, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, parents, grandparents. And then, again, inducing a medical martial law and a track trace database system that will restrict you immediately for various degrees of going against their authoritarian system. Okay?
I have to get out of the way. This is what they are turning the human person into with this whole thing. I'm not saying that our people are responsible for thinking this up. They don't have the brains for that or anything. But this is what they're implementing. This is the thinking behind it, to destroy the spirit of the human person, the individuality, the personality, the conscience, the character of the human person. That is what this project is about.
So you see it right there, right? Everything that guy just said, and you notice, he said he knew right away that they weren't smart enough to come up with this. All right? Like I said, Andrew Capo Cuomo, he ain't the boss. All right? He's not the one making the real decisions. He's not the one that says, oh, it's a good idea to go out to Savannah, Georgia. You know what I'm saying? This is an orchestrated event. You better believe it. The implementation of this shit has to end. And I'm glad we got pushed back there. But then again, just like I showed you guys, it's 100% what? Censored on my Twitter feed. Go down and check it out. Let's see if it comes up for you or not. We'll do it in real time. We do it live. I'm putting it in the live chat. Remember to thumbs this up, subscribe, and share. There it is. Find out. Does it show you his video or not? I can tell you right now. I mean, I'm not playing tricks. I'll refresh the browser. You know, it's that one. You can see the URL on the top, but it is there, and it's not like. And why would that be sensitive content anyway? Why would that be sensitive content anyway? Unbelievable. So guys, thumbs the video up, subscribe and share. Like I said, I'm going to try to pump them out. I know it's a little later in the day. I spent time with my family today. Got, cleaned up, got back together. Sort of shave a little bit, maybe get a haircut. The grays are popping a little bit, but that's because I'm, a 41-year-old man at this point. So make sure you check out the documentary films. Listen, if you really want to understand what these big plans are about, Invisible Empire, New World Order Defined, Shade the Motion Picture especially, because again, it's like it's a new revelation that Bill Gates might not be the greatest guy. It's not new to me. I mean, again, I've been talking about that guy for well over a decade. Oh, great. Listen, I like my Xbox too. I'm using I'm using the tools. I'm using Windows right now to broadcast this. I get it. But that doesn't mean that I want somebody like him of an authoritarian nature reimagining schools, here. And again, to bring it back full circle, Missouri, in certain areas, is considering kids in middle school and above to wear masks, right? So my niece Michelina is going into that grade, right? I think she's going to 6th grade. It would be middle school for her, and I don't want her wearing a mask. And I really think that South Dakota and Iowa are the only two places now that aren't going to try to implement that on children. Believe it or not, like 2 states. Well, as much as I don't know, I thought South Dakota was good, but I was only in Sioux Falls. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I should have traveled a little bit more. There was a lot of road tripping here. And it is gorgeous there, but I really I like the land in Iowa. And plus, you are kind of right there in a city-like area, urban area. There's plenty to do. I would consider Iowa, especially if they're not going to make any children, which I don't think they are, wear masks. So I'm looking around. That's the next big thing. I've got to figure out how to move in the next 2 months. I'd like to be there September 1st. I'm, of course, going to need your help with that, guys. Without you, this isn't possible. So check me out over on Rockfin as well. I'm going to try to do at least 2 or 3 exclusives over there this week, but you can guarantee you get a free exclusive by just signing up on Tuesday at noon. We're definitely going to be doing that. I love you guys. I'll see you on the flip.